Welcome back to Up Front. Wisconsin Democrats return to the legislature this year with fewer members in each chamber. In the state Senate, Democrats are down 20-13. In the Assembly, the Republican advantage is 64-35. What are Democrats willing to work with Republicans on, and what issues will they contest? We're asking Assembly Assistant Minority Leader Diane Hesselbein, the Democrat from Middleton. Thanks very much for being on the show again.
Thanks for having me. It's good to see you.
So let's talk a little bit about this upcoming session, or the current session. How do Democrats feel about things as they enter this? I mean, the numbers are really daunting for your party. What role can you hope to play?
Well, it was disappointing. I mean, let's be honest. I never thought we'd be sitting here in January with a President-elect Trump on the horizon. I don't think a lot of us thought that was really going to happen. Certainly, my Republican colleagues were surprised as well. So it was disappointing, a very disappointing election. But I think we're still hoping to accomplish a lot. I think if we can work together with the majority party on good jobs for the middle class and for working families, then that will be a win. And I'm hoping they're open to those ideas.
So you see potential areas of cooperation?
Sure. You know, my door is always open. It always has been since I started, and it continues to be. So I'm hoping that we can work together in a bipartisan manner to really help the working people in the state of Wisconsin.
Let's talk a little bit about transportation, likely to be a hot issue in the budget discussions. Is that an area where Democrats and Republicans can find common ground?
Well, you know, it's really interesting that the Republicans have had 6 years to solve this critical issue for the state of Wisconsin, and they haven't done it. And I want to thank the press right here now, just letting us know what they're thinking, because not one of them has ever spoken to me about it. So I'm hoping they know, once again, that my door is open, and I'm hoping to work with them, because our roads are terrible. Driving here to Milwaukee today on 994, they're terrible. They're terrible in the rural communities as well. My district of Dane County has some rural roads, and they're talking about putting gravel over them because they can't even keep up with shared revenue, filling potholes and making them better. So we're at a critical point in the state of Wisconsin in fixing our roads, and I hope they reach out to us so we can come to a conclusion together. Is
there any sort of group feeling on what Democrats could be willing to support in a transportation fix?
I think things we're not looking at is, you know, if they wanted to do something drastic like a $200, registration fee, or I know lately they've been talking about toll roads. That makes me personally cringe a little bit, because if they wanted to do that 6 years ago, they could have done that, and maybe by now they'd be up and running. You have to get federal approval, you have to build it, and I think that's a longer view of things. But definitely I think we're willing to work with them when they realize what it is that they think they can accomplish.
Another potential area of cooperation, possibly, the opioid epidemic in this state, heroin epidemic. Do you see common ground there?
I do. That just came out this week.
Right.
The task force has been meeting since September, and I spoke with Representative Billings on the way here and asked her what she thought about the bills that were coming out of that group, and she was very pleased by it. So I'm hoping that we can continue to work together. There have been some good bipartisan task force. Last year I was fortunate to be on the Alzheimer's and dementia one, where we passed, I think, 10 bills in the Assembly, and only 3 were signed into law. So I think there's more work to do on that as well. But I think these task forces are good ideas of things that can happen in a bipartisan way as well.
So give me a sense of where Democrats are going to draw the line, where you're going to say this is a bad idea, and you're going to be very vocal about saying this is a bad idea.
Well, one thing I think has been a bad idea is a manufacturing tax credit, an agricultural tax credit we give out to people. There are currently 11 people in the state of Wisconsin that see a $20 million a tax break at tax time. They don't have to pay. It's a $20 million giveaway to the top 1% of the state of Wisconsin. And that system is rigged. And for these people, we have no idea what jobs they're creating. We have no idea if they've created 2 jobs, 50 jobs, 50,000 jobs. And there's no way of tracking it. They just get this Christmas gift of this huge tax break, and that has to stop. And we can't keep doing that to the people in the state of Wisconsin. I don't want to have to pay for these big tax breaks for these people, and I'm sure working class and middle class people don't either.
So given the reality of the numbers in the Assembly, what do you do about that? How do you stop it?
We talk about it. We talk about it every single chance we can and say that the system is rigged, and it's rigged against middle class and working class families in the state of Wisconsin. We hope that it catches on and that people start paying attention to it, because we want a fair tax system. You know, as I was out talking to people across the state of Wisconsin, people kept saying they just want a fair shot, a fair shake. They just want everyone to pay their fair share. Certainly I don't think it's a Robin Hood idea where we're going to take from the rich and give it to the poor, but right now it's the opposite, where they're taking from the poor and the middle class and they're giving it to the rich, and that has to stop. We need a fair system.
Quick question about the UW system. The governor's indicated he'd like to give the UW system more money, but there are also some conditions attached to it. What are Democrats going to have to say about those discussions?
Well, I don't know what conditions he's talking about. I'm really not quite sure. I don't know how you cut and gut the university system by that much money and then think you're going to get the same thing out of the university system. It's harder. I have a son who's a junior in Milwaukee, and certainly he has to be waitlisted to get into a few classes now that maybe wouldn't have happened 3 or 4 years ago. So I'm curious to see what conditions those are going to be. I certainly like the academic freedom that the universities have, and reaching out to their students to see what they need to graduate with the degree that they want. That's important. You want young people to go into a degree that they really want at the end of their 4 or 5 years.
State Representative Diane Hasselbein is the Democrat from Middleton, Assistant Minority Leader in the State Assembly. It's good to have you back on the program.
Thanks so much.
2017 is a budget year, and our editorial partner, WisPolitics.com, will keep you up to date on budget news. Just check out the budget blog at WisPolitics.com. Coming up next, Republicans promise swift action on repealing the Affordable Care Act. We'll look at the potential effect on Wisconsin families. That's next on Upfront.